And also we have a guest, but you know, our guest is in the background, so she just might come in and speak. But anyway, we're going to get into our topic. It is Tuesday, July 26th. This month is like rolling past. Soon it'll be Christmas. I mean, okay, no, Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, then Christmas. But you know, before you know it, we'll be having that Thanksgiving meal, you know?
That's
And it'll
true.
be snowing outside and everything. But anyway, we're going to get into our 10-minute topic. Like I said, it's Tuesday. Let's roll.
The topic of today is, what are great methods to use when raising your children? And I'm just going to wing it for what I've been doing. And, you know, it's no manual on how to raise a parent. So if anybody says they're an expert, it's not true on how to raise a child. So if anybody says they're an expert, it's not true, because things just happen so randomly and it's just not planned. You know, so the first thing is to lead with love always. You want to be able to be a loving parent to your child whenever they go through things. Just let them know that you're there for them, that you love them. Sometimes just in this world, things can get a little crazy. So sometimes just letting someone know that they are loved is encouragement enough for them to continue on. Also, just let them know that everybody makes mistakes. Nobody is perfect. You know, lead with confidence for one, lead with truth. Sometimes we as parents, we do make mistakes, and it's okay to let our children know that, you know, I made a mistake. It's okay to apologize to your child. You are human. You are for me, parental rights or parenting doesn't have to be a dictatorship. You know what I mean? How some parents are just so strict on things that they can't even let their child live to explore, to make mistakes. I definitely don't want to raise a child that is afraid to make mistakes, or I don't want to live through my child. You know what I mean? And me as an adult, I've made some mistakes, but I don't want to change what I've done. And, you know, don't get me wrong, it is okay if you've made mistakes to not let your child go down that same road. But sometimes if they still want to go down that same road, sometimes they just have to see it for themselves. And as a parent, you got to be able to let go for some things, you know, just let go and just let them make a mistake, because out of mistakes, you learn and you grow from that. So for me, I try not to live through my child. It is my child's life. I don't want to run my child's life. I just want to be there to support them in whatever they want to do. I only have one child, but whatever he wants to do, I just want to be there to let him know that I support him and I'm here for him whenever he needs me. But I don't want to control his life, because too much control can be damaging to a child to go out here and to society. You know what I mean? So you don't want to control them at all. Just be there for them, be their best advocate. You definitely want to advocate for your child whenever you can. But control, that's a definite failure for me. Something I don't want to do.
Thank you. As you two know, I'm not a parent yet, but you two have raised good kids so far. So I'll say that. But I don't have much to, I guess, say on the topic or offer on the topic, because I'm going to read the manual first and then have kids and then comment on the topic and come back to it. But I know that lots of pastors say everything that you need to know is in the Bible. And I do know there's a scripture in there that says, train up a child in the way that they should go, so when they get older, they shall not depart. So that's one of the things that I'm going to take and apply to my children when they come. I already have their names and everything. So right now, I don't have any much offering advice on the topic, because I'm going to defer until years down the road. And that's after they turn 18 to see how they turn out.
I agree. You all made some good points. I do have one. She's 21 now, but it's not a manual on raising kids. We all wish it was, but like Carlina said, the Bible is the manual that you can go by, you know. It can be, raising your child, you do have to look at the mistakes you've made as a parent and try not to compare. That's one thing. Try not to compare your child to their father. I mean, you know how some parents say, you act just like your daddy, or you do that just like your dad, especially if it's something bad. Because I'm not saying I've never done it. I've done that too. Be honest, you act just like your dad when you do that, but you shouldn't do it. Only when it's the bad things. When it's good things. I mean, either way, just let the child grow. We're not here just to tell you how to follow our steps, but we're just telling you what we do. That's what basically we're doing, telling you what we do, what we've tried. And we've had some hiccups. I've had some hiccups before because I'm learning. I learned, how did I learn? I'm trying to think. From the Bible. Because it was hard. When I first had my child, I was 25? Yeah, I was 25 years old. And I didn't know what to do. I'm like, what the heck? What am I supposed to do? It's no book. They cry, you gotta feed them, you gotta take them places. And that's another thing, training your child to respect others. That's one thing I will say everybody needs to do. Take that from us. Train your child to respect others. Train your child to respect themselves. And I'm not a big fan on people cursing at their kids. Never been a fan of that. To me, you shouldn't do it. And I'm pretty sure to them, you shouldn't do it either. People might say, I talk to my kids that way. That's because they'll understand. But actually, they take that information and they take it to school. And they can use that. And sometimes they use that on your teachers because they hear and, they're being called names at home. So that's another thing I would say. You shouldn't curse at your kids. Talk to them. Sit down and talk to them. Don't talk at them. Talk to them. What else am I thinking about? Because we could be on this topic all day. Spend time with them. Take them to the movies. See what they like to do. Be their parent, and also, I would say be a friend. Some people say I'm not going to be my child's friend, but I'm not saying, what am I trying to say? How some parents are a friend, not a parent. But to me, it's like there's a balance. So be the parent and be a friend. Meaning, friend is like open the door, allow that child to be able to talk to you about whatever's going on. Just don't be so, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, because that can pull a child away. Make them feel open. Understand you were young just like they were young. You used to like boys and girls or whatever, they're going to do that too. Let them talk, let them express their feelings, and listen to them. Listen to them. Then while they're talking, also remember, I was a child too. So like you said, Moyen, sometimes kids are going to make mistakes, and we have to be there too, sometimes to help them get out of their mistakes and tell them to pray all the time. But that's it. I'm going to stop talking.
Well, so this is a direct question for you. As a teacher, because you're also a teacher of the kids, the children. So what are some tips you would suggest you would like to instilled at home from your into your kids?
Sit down. That's a good question too. I believe a lot of parents need to sit down, and this is for the parents that's not doing it. And if the parents that are doing it, it's just a suggestion. I really think you should sit down with your child. First of all, when a child leaves the house, I'm a big fan of this. When your child gets up and leaves the house, I think the parents should get up with the child and make sure that they have something to eat, or you see them off. I'm a big fan of that. Because there are so many kids that came up to me when I was at the school, and I would ask them, you didn't put the right shoe on, or is this your shoe? Or they say, Miss C, you know, I had my brother's shoe on, or I didn't see my mother this morning, whatever the case. And they'll tell me my mother was in the bed asleep. You don't understand how sometimes that can affect the child because they didn't see the parent going off to school. So I really believe that you should at least wake up with your child while they go off to school and at least tell them to have a good day. They always want to see your face in the morning or at night. Some people are working. I'm talking about the ones that are at home, you know, or if you're at work, take some time out to call them. Another thing, sit down with your child, and look over their homework. Ask them how their day was. Get involved with the parent-teacher conferences. Read with your child. So those are some advice that I would give. Some advice, just some.
Okay, and I guess speaking from my profession too, I would advise to try and have a good relationship with the other parent, the co-parent, because that puts a strain, no matter if you're together or apart or whatever, it puts a strain on the child itself, himself, herself. If there's fighting and arguing, of course, that is, you know, mental, it could be stimulation or it could be mental harm or whatever it is, emotional harm or emotional happiness. But it could all stem from that interaction that two parents do have.
Yeah.
All right. Shango said, let your children speak and be expressive. And that is so true. You got to let them speak. Let them know that they have a voice. He also said, but when these kids get older, especially when they already heard every curse word in school, especially with boys, my son is 14 and he do dumb choice word. I'm going to let him know. And he also said the curse words tend to slip out if you got to repeat yourself. Wanda said, remember, children learn by example. So yeah, these are just tips on what we would do. What you do in your household is your business, as long as it's not hurting the child, because then that probably will become my business. But anyway, yeah, these are just our tips of what we do in our household and what works for us and for our children. Whatever you do, as long as it's in a loving manner, and if it works for your household, then that is totally fine. Anything else?
Yeah, it's easier said than done to have a good relationship with the co-parent. I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, people do learn by example, not just kids. People learn by example. And if they see loving kindness and kind words expressed, it could be more, there could be more likely to express that into the world. But if they see hate and aggravation and rage, they're more likely to express that to the world.
Honey
And
said,
I also heard the comment about the curse words tend to slip out. A lot of kids have, I'm not saying all, a lot of kids have told me, Miss C, you know, I'm cursing, because you know, I always tell the kids, don't use that language. Well, I curse like this at my mama. This is how we talk. I've heard so much stuff that, you know, I'm just saying, I don't curse in my kids, and because of, not just because of what the kids tell me at the school, only because when I was younger, no one cursed at me. So, but like you said, you know, whatever works for you at home, you know, talking to your kids, if it's not harming the kids to the point where it's stopping them from growing or prospering in life, because that's the ultimate goal, is to raise the child up in a way that he can grow in society and find a job and go off and get married and love people and respect each other. I mean, that's the ultimate goal.
Honey said, African parents don't apologize, so they're never wrong. When you do right, you like your father. When you do wrong, you're like your mother. Raising a child or children in Africa is always challenging. In terms of house chores, the male and the female counterparts are raised differently. They tend to focus more on the female counterparts. Some African parents are very strict to their kids, and they find it very difficult to confide in them. This leaves a child or children into the hands of strangers who tend to mislead them. In summary, Most parents don't grow up seeing their parents love them. This goes a long way in the way they train their children. And that's so true. You tend to love the way you were loved, and it just becomes a cycle. Wanda said you can teach them the Bible. And Honey also said you can teach love if they were groomed in love. And that's so true. That's goes back to my first point. You definitely want to lead with love and raising your kid. You know what I mean? Let them know that they are loved in this world.
Yeah, those were excellent points, Honey, and Shango and Wanda. Thank you.
Yes, thank you to everyone who's tuned in. It's always beautiful to talk about the kids. Why? Because the children are our future, right? Whitney Houston said it best. So as
Saying it best.
she's saying it best. So as always, remember to build bold, build brilliant, build better, build a brother up, build a sister up.
Bye. Still on.